Chris, start with you. Your reaction to these two reports.
Do I open this now or later? When do we open this on the show?
Well, tell me why you know what? If you're going to do that, I'm going to do this. Let me show you the lies told about the job you did. Let me show you some of the disinformation.
We're using a foreign company that is owned by Venezuelans who are close to Chavez, are now close to Maduro, have a history. They were founded as a company to fix elections.
What we are really dealing with here and uncovering more by the day is the massive influence of communist money through Venezuela, Cuba, and likely China in the interference with our elections here in the United States.
The president's lawyers alleging a company called Dominion, which they say started in Venezuela with Cuban money and with the assistance of Smartmatic software, a backdoor is capable of flipping votes.
So since you were adequately armed with appropriate beverage to watch that, I'll let you respond.
It's great to see that in the black and white terms, that last paragraph you read out of the DHS, the 1B report, keeping in mind there, by the executive order signed prior to the 2018 election, there are two reports. The first was the one you referenced from the Director of National Intelligence. That's the 1A report that has the intelligence analysis of any sort of interference attempts. That 1B report was by DOJ and the FBI and DHS and CISA, and it measured effectively any impacts on the election. And as you said, and as that report clearly states, there was no vote flipping, there was no Kraken, there was no hammer, there was no scorecard. I could go on and on. These are the things that we were saying in October, November, and December. And yet, the cacophony of voices from the right and the former president's supporters that led up ultimately to January 6th, they were flat out, that was fake news.
So, Chris, I'm going to need you to go on and on because we now have a situation where the disinformation forces among some Americans are stronger than the facts. And the 4 years long smear campaign against what Trump described a deep state, he happened to lead the deep state, but that never stopped him, has taken root. How do you take actual information and use it to combat disinformation?
Well, I think maybe the one guy that's happier than I am right now is the CEO of Dominion Voting Systems. I mean, that information in the 1B report is as authoritative as you can get in terms of debunking the claims by Powell and Wood and others. So that certainly supports his attempts to hold them accountable. And that's what we have to do. Now, my concern more broadly is that the damage has been done. The courts, the wheels of justice turn a little too slowly, I think, to make sure that the confidence in our election processes and systems can be maintained. So when you got a guy that's got 80 million followers on Twitter that's throwing this stuff around, that's really hard to overcome, and I think that's the challenge that we're going to have to focus on.
Are you speaking about all of the efforts to roll back access to voting and voter suppression efforts by Republican legislatures all across the country based on a lie that we now have further evidence in these two reports is just that, a lie?
I think that's certainly part of it. I know down in Georgia, for instance, there were some early attempts in the Senate, the Georgia Senate, to introduce legislation that would remove Dominion systems from the counties. You see what's going on out in Arizona with the Senate subpoenaing the Maricopa County Election Board for access to ballots and systems, and without a real plan. And in fact, they were going to use, by all reports that I saw at least, they were going to use the same team that conducted a half-baked report up in Antrim County, Michigan. So this is just, I've said it before on the show, this is performative politics. This is the bus is being driven by the base, and the elected officials are on board with it, and they've got to be on stage, and they've got to be performing to whatever the base wants them to do.
Are you concerned, Chris, by what it reveals about Ratcliffe's role as not being an honest broker? I think we all knew from the outside that he wasn't an honest broker when it came to our intelligence agencies and their intelligence products. But he wrote an op-ed describing China as the gravest threat to our elections and our democracy. The report details, the intelligence report details the nature of the Russian effort. And it's clear Christopher Wray testified publicly to it. Donald Trump came out and attacked him the next day, but he had his man at ODNI, Ratcliffe, carrying the company line. How dangerous is that in hindsight?
So when I looked at the 1A report from today and the 1B report as well, there was not a lot in there that surprised me. It was all consistent with my understanding. It was consistent with the information that we released to the American people, whether it was Iranian activities, whether it was proxy efforts by Russian, agents acting on behalf of the FSB. And yes, there were Chinese broader attempts, and as they have always done, to influence our politics. One of my friends at the NSA at the time, he was the cyber coordinator, said, Russia is the hurricane and China is climate change. And so when we think about interference and influence in our democracy, Russia has these really brazen, high impact, high visibility efforts. Meanwhile, in the background, China's playing a much slower, quieter game that in the broader sense of things, I do think as a national security geopolitical threat that China is the number one, but Russia's right behind them.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.